They said it was at least 8.5 feet tall.
It wasn't more than
we probably locked eyes for maybe 3 seconds, and that was enough for me to just be completely scared out of my mind.
Have you put bait out too?
We have similar reports in Russia.
I must have watched it for about a minute and a half.
A large something.
I couldn't explain what it was.
And that's when I saw the face peek out from behind the tree at me.
But ancient Native Americans have been recounting sightings for centuries. Sightings of creatures all. The Creek.
They ran into this people that they called the Creek Devil.
Since the late 1950s, local and national newspapers have recounted witness reports of 6 to 8 foot tall, hairy, man-like creatures roaming the mountains of Humboldt County in Northern California.
Where the crystal waters flow, no reason to consider company might show, but destiny would find you where you walked across the sand to leave a world divided. Did Roger film a Bigfoot or man? Where are you now, Patty?
Well, welcome, folks. It's that time once again for the Friday evening Bigfoot Radio. And now for the Bigfoot search team from across the country, welcome, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? Well, to anybody out there that has any weird things going on in their neighborhood or out in the woods or out in the mountains, from UFOs to cryptids to Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or even some ghost of Knights Templars or whatever the case may be, give us a call at 667 770-1476, and the participant code is 759314. Again, the phone number here is 667-770-1476, and the participant code is 759314. Welcome, Chris. What's going on in your neck of the woods, or should I say in the Cement City?
Well, buddy, you started off with the ghosts of the Knights Templar. If anybody's seen that,
actually, I said the Knights Templar, but whatever.
Yeah, the Knights Templar. Shit, you're talking about like 600 years, 700 years ago, 1300s or something like that.
Well, yeah, you know, the Knights Templars, they actually went to Jerusalem. We all know what they were doing over there. They were looking for artifacts and some of the stuff in Solomon's Temple that's no longer there. A lot of people don't realize this, where the Dome of the Rock sits now. That's not where the original Solomon's Temple was at. Solomon's Temple is no more than maybe a mile off from that.
Okay.
And what they were doing is they were finding certain valuable treasures to bring them over to the new land, or what they call the new holy city, or whatever. They were basically trying to hide this stuff for secrecy because there's something they were looking for that's either UFO related or could be Sasquatch related too, for all I know.
Well, a lot of religious artifacts is what the Knights Templar was at, you know, and anything that was close to Jesus and following anything, parts of the cross that he was crucified on, or the nails that was supposedly put into his you know, throughout his body and arms and legs, you know, these things are artifacts that they were trying to get and actually, you know, make sure that it didn't get into the wrong hands and stuff like that. And who knows where that ended up, you know? I mean, they said it went all the way to France to
Actually, there's more than one ark out there. I mean, the King James doesn't speak about it all. All it says in the King James is there was like an Ark of the Covenant, all the other stuff that was put together by Moses and everything else. But if you go into the book of Gideon says that I guess King Solomon's wife, which was Sheba, him and Sheba had a son, Amalek, or however you pronounce his name, and he was trying to sneak the ark out of there. So basically, while he was there with his mom, with King Solomon, and everything else, in secrecy, they were building another ark. But I think they took the wrong one with them because apparently it looked almost identical to the other one, and they took it.
Well, a lot of the Knights Templar were actually trying to protect the
Pilgrims. I know
the chalice of Jesus Christ. You know, the holy chalice.
Yeah, but if you only knew what the holy chalice was, it had nothing to do with a cup.
Well, you know, they still the Ethiopians, you know,
yeah, they
claim
that they have the Ark of the Covenant. They claim
that's
it's
right.
inside of a temple, and it's down below inside of a basement or something like that, and only a certain priest can go in the bottom of it. And I mean, it's not supposed to put out radiation. It's really not. Something else they might have, but I doubt it's that.
Right.
But anyhow,
I agree.
I did some more research. Come to find out, what was his name? He was a Viking. What was
Eric?
Who?
Eric?
Eric, not Eric
the Viking?
Not Eric the Red, the other, his son. What the hell was his name? Leif Erikson.
Leif Erikson?
Yeah, Leif Erikson.
Leif Erikson?
He actually saw a Bigfoot back in his time, and he said they were the most ugliest things he ever saw, and they had a stench that wouldn't quit.
Wait, did he see my ex-wife?
He could have mentioned my ex-wife.
Touche.
Could be. Not my ex-wife. Although I do have Viking in me, I've had Danish in me, and I have German in me, and a little bit of Native American too.
I am not saying anything. I'm being good.
I know. I was going to say something.
That was difficult, man. That was difficult.
Everything's difficult. Anyhow, anything going on in anybody's neck of the woods other than that? Anybody seen orbs or UFOs or hairy critters?
Just the heat. Just the heat right now.
Yeah, this is weird. It's supposed to be. This is weird.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. I forgot you're still in the Arctic.
It's terrible. I'm sick of it. I hate this part of the country. I mean, it is terrible, man.
We're thinking of you while we're sitting in 80 and 90 degree weather.
I can't believe you guys. I saw the other day, like, Denver's in the 70s and shit. I'm going like, my God, how lucky you guys are, man. It's been the worst winter. I'm saying we're probably, they said it was 1914 with not only a lot of snow, but it's the coldest. And then 1960, and then they said 2025, they said 25, 26, and it was third place. I think we've jumped it, and I'm not sure, but we were in third place about a month ago, and it's like 66 inches of snow so far, and but the cold, it's just snow, and it doesn't melt, and it looks fake. I don't know. I hate it.
I love the cold air. I'll be glad when I move back up to Northern California near Siskiyou County, where it snows like about 20, sometimes 40 feet deep. I can deal with that.
Oh, good.
When you guys were talking about the Knights, you guys were talking about the Knights Templar. One other thing that they were doing too, they were protecting the Holy Grail, supposedly too. They were on the search for it.
The Holy Grail is the chalice, the cup that Christ drank out of, supposedly.
Exactly.
But beings nobody has ever found or even saw the Grail at all. The Grail is a representation of like 3 stripes on a military arm, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
You have 3 facing down, and then if you flip it the other way around, it looks like a cup. But that's not what it's talking about.
Yeah. No, there's been a quest for it forever, and I don't know if people are still. Hey, who knows? You know, it could have been found and it's sitting with some billionaire in his, his artifacts rooms of all the famous things he's collected. Which I heard the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were found in the late 1940s, that were encapsulated in these clay pots in a cave at Jesus' time, and only so much was given out to the public, and the rest was sold for auction.
Some people just don't get it. Plus, you had what they call the copper tablet. The copper tablet itself had certain places where all these treasures were buried at.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's like the Shroud of Turin. Look at the all the fighting over that.
Actually, the Shroud of Turin was in a fire. It didn't burn the whole thing, but there was a few scorches on it, and they were doing some research on it because they found newer thread cased into the original thread, and they took some thread out of it, and when they did, they found a little word inside of the thread. It was underneath microscope or something like that. Now, this is about 10, 15 years ago, and I was doing research on it. And I'm sitting there looking at these words. I'm like, what the hell? And they're all in Jewish letters. And I'm like, what the hell does this mean? So I did like almost 5 years of research to what those letters were. And it come out that it said heaven was actually in the clouds. And I'm sitting here pondering to myself, now, wait a minute. I thought when a person dies, their electromagnetic energy, which I call an orb, leaves the body and goes into the heavens or wherever the dimension is here on Earth, where they go into a different dimension or whatever. I saw it said heaven and clouds. I'm like, what the hell? You're going to tell me that heaven only comes by when the clouds come in? Does that mean 70% of the water when we die evaporates and goes back to the clouds? How does that work?
You don't know too that in heaven though, there could be clouds in that dimension.
Anything's possible. I'm not going to say it's not. I've seen kind of weird, strange things I couldn't even explain. I've seen UFOs mostly all my life growing up in Northern California up by Mount Shasta.
Right.
I've heard stories about the Atlanteans leaving Atlantis before a certain volcano blew up, and they left Atlantis and went to Mount Shasta, and that's where they've been at for God knows how many thousands of years. And supposedly Atlantis was a high technological race.
Wasn't Atlantis connected with
it was connected to another place called Mu. M-U.
Yeah,
M-U.
but it was Mount Vesuvius erupted, right?
No, it wasn't Mount Vesuvius. It was Mount Etrini, or how the hell you pronounce that thing.
I know what I'm trying to get at is that someone said it's connected to, what was it, Paley or something like that, some weird name where the town was caught off guard and everybody was encased in lava.
I tell you what, if anybody was encased in lava, they'd all fry to death.
You know the one I'm talking about, don't you, Chris?
Yes, that's That's Mount the volcano that erupted near near Greece.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that mountain.
It begins with an E.
Etini or Etrini or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They were all encased. The bodies, they didn't dissolve. I don't know why it didn't.
No. Oh man, that was weird. I mean, now me and Steve have had encounters with MIB. Have you ever had an encounter with MIB before, Chris?
MIB, that stands for Missing in...
No, Men in Black.
That's Men in Black.
No, listen. Being up in the mountains...
Mystical Intelligent Busters. Oh.
You too. Well, I had the FBI.
Independent brat.
Yeah. I have the FBI got a hold of me after I did did my book and then YouTube, and this guy wanted me to he wanted to come up to my cabin, and he said he had all the technical stuff we had. He was fascinated by Bigfoot, and he wanted to prove if it was real or not. And I almost gave in. I almost, but I didn't. He was a talker, man. A slick, and everything he was telling me he had from, the sounds, and he could put up setups all around that would record everything in sound, and he had one of those things that fly up in the air, and what do you call them? What the Army uses and everything now, Anthony? Drones, yes, drones, exactly. And he had all the top techniques. So he said to me he was going to Devil's Forest in New Jersey, Devil's Graveyard, what's the place in New Jersey? Devil's, it's well known.
Is it like a mountain?
No, it's like in Jersey. It's like thousands of acres, and Bigfoot's been seen there, but other encrypted things that like Bruce would like the paranormal stuff, are there. Like the unicorn and
the Devil's Playground.
Devil's Playground. God, our listeners are probably screaming. It's Devil something. Anyways, he said he was going there. I said, listen, if you're going to go and film that, great. He was going with a group of other guys, and he was bringing a gun. And I said, if you're going to bring a gun, they're going to know you're going to have a gun. I don't care. They know you will have a gun. Even if you don't show it, they're going to know you have a gun. For some reason, they know that. And he says, okay, well, I'm going to bring it anyways. I says, okay, go ahead. But I says, your chances are slim if you're going to show that be something that you could use for violence towards them and stuff.
Yeah.
And he went down there and spent a long weekend, and he said that he didn't see anything, but he thought he heard things in the distance, and that was about it. And I still got his phone number and everything, but I just didn't want to pursue it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it would lead me into on that.
Yeah.
With the men. So answering your questions, Men in Black, they heard about me and they got in touch with me. So on that, and occasionally I would see strange, where I lived up in the mountains, there weren't that many vehicles.
Strange black vehicles with their windows tinted.
I can't remember, but I mean, anything was strange when I was up in that mountains coming there, because there was nobody ever up there. I mean, maybe a dozen cars might pass by a year. That's how secluded I was. That's where I wanted to be. And but anyways, no.
Did they try to intimidate you like they did me and Steve?
They never intimidated me. I told They came up to me. I was underneath the car working on a car or something like that. They came up to me, and I got smart mouth with one of them. They said, we're looking for someone. I said, well, don't look at me. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm underneath the car, so how am I supposed to see what you're looking for? And the guy popped off and said, what, are you being smart? How would you like to have a car drop on you? And I told the guy, how would you like me to come out from underneath this car and kick your ass? And he said, really? And that's when I got up out of the car, he never seen a 25-year-old at 7 foot look over him, and he's like, holy shit. Maybe he should have picked words with somebody else other than a giant.
I can see that. I just picture that. I picture that in my mind. He probably turned pale white.
I don't know. I've never been intimidated by men in black ever.
They tried to intimidate me. They came to our door in Warrensburg, Missouri. They tried to intimidate us, tried to force the way in. I said, no, you're not coming in, and no, I don't want to talk to you. It was right after we had done one of our first shows. And I had just gotten off the show with you guys, and they knocked on our door. And I'm like, what the hell is this shit about? And they tried to force their way in. They were trying to look past me to see who all and what all was in there and all that. I
also want to make an apology to the YouTube listeners out there. Last night I got online and I made a broadcast thing so I could get on the phone and do my YouTube weekly broadcast. But for some strange reason, as dumb as YouTube is, all these dumb AIs they have out there, it didn't come out right, so I had to just broadcast off my regular YouTube channel. I swear to God, get rid of these AIs, man. They're no good. You ask them a question, they come up with a dumb answer.
I'm sorry, but I think human race is getting lazier and lazier.
Oh, absolutely.
I was watching Ancient Aliens before I started the show up 3 hours ago, and they were talking about the future building cyborgs and all that other stuff, and I was like, oh God, now we're going to have idiot robots.
Dude, what?
Cyborgs.
Yeah, you're breaking up or something.
They're going to have idiot cyborgs.
Cyborgs, yeah. What else is new?
Japan's ahead of us, man. They already got human-like robots right now. I was watching like I said, Ancient Aliens, and Japan's ahead of us when it comes to the human-like robots. Oh my God, these things look real, but their heads when they turn and their eyes when they blink, it just don't look right.
Yeah,
they're making those for dating purposes.
Yeah, I ain't gonna plug no robot. I don't think so.
They even have. Remember, Steve, you talked about you see it coming. That it's going to be sort of like Battlestar Galactica with the robots that take over. Well, they're training robots now to shoot firearms to go into combat situations.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I already know that. And I keep telling everybody when I go shopping, you see those machines right there, you guys going through, it's going to overtake the businesses and stuff like that. And then you people ain't going to get no pay or nothing. You're going to be sitting at home saying, why did we create these things? Now we're all broke. Well, that's your stupidity for building the dumb things in the first place.
We need a couple of large electromagnetic
pulse generators
that we can just attach. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll fry some circuits.
Well, Steve, besides the Germans and the Danish in you, you can have the Japanese in you.
I got no Japanese in me, thank God of
that. Just tell them to step back.
Anthony, you're being pretty quiet.
He says it's too crazy.
Sleeping?
I think we traumatized him, Chris.
You blame me for sleeping.
No, I'm the one that puts the mute button on and leaves it on and keeps talking.
Anyhow,
Hey,
have you had
Fred.
anything in your neck of the woods going on at all?
Well, not this week. I hadn't checked in with anybody, and I hadn't gone out, because of the rain and stuff like that. I hadn't hit any of the trails that I like to go to because of, it's just going to be a muddy mess.
Rain? Lucky you. Damn.
Florida's getting ready to get hit too.
But I think I told you about my friend moving his camera, right? He had it pointed into that same area where I told you that I had seen eye shine at one time. And once, he redirected the camera, the camera's battery stopped draining. So
that's very common.
But interestingly enough, he told me that he thought that the batteries, the rechargeable batteries, were damaged. He thought they were damaged because they were brand new. But he said the camera did take a lot longer to charge up to full capacity compared to the other ones in the area that were not pointed in the same direction. So he said it did charge up, but for some strange reason it took several days. Because they all have solar panels on them. So.
Huh.
Yeah, he did make that.
They drain the batteries. It's a known fact.
Could that have been from like an electrical pulse?
Here's the thing. Here's why I don't think it was. Okay, if it was a pulse, it would have affected the camera directly next to it as well. That's just my opinion.
Right.
So, and when I say next to it, it's like, within 3 feet of it. So I'm thinking if it was a pulse, unless a pulse is that narrow, I have no idea. But
right.
Elaborate, Anthony, elaborate what you're saying about pulse. Okay, so I can understand it in our listeners, so I can give you my opinion on what happened to me. Go ahead.
All right. So if I guess the simplest way that I could explain it is like this. Okay, you have a loudspeaker. Okay, you have a woofer, you have a mid-range, and you have a tweeter. Okay, and when you're hearing loud music, you could feel that bass anywhere. When you walk around the speaker, whether you're in front of it, next to it, behind it, you could feel that bass. Okay. But when you want to hear the sound from the tweeter, you have to stand in front of the speaker to hear the high frequency sounds.
Right.
Right. So that's what you call so basically in audio, okay, the higher the frequency, the more narrow the beam, the more narrow it is, and that's the same thing with, audio frequencies, the same thing with radio frequencies, okay? So if there was an electronic pulse, okay, and if it's kind of like at a radar frequency, because radars are also narrow frequencies, it would have to be narrow enough just to, kind of like a instead of a flashlight, a beam from a flashlight, it would have to be a beam like a red laser beam just to hit that one camera.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's what I mean, so, but typically, like most pulses are not that narrow unless it is specifically targeted just for that one. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, when you shine a flashlight, it lights up the whole room. When you shine a laser beam, it only gives you a red dot.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
or
saying?
It gives you a thin looking line.
Right. So it depends on the pulse, and if so I'm thinking that if it was a pulse like as wide as a flashlight, it would have got both cameras. but it would have to have been something specific, narrower, like a laser dot, to just get that one camera.
Yep.
I don't know if it was I don't know if it was a pulse. My opinion is most pulses that are done. So now the other dynamic is this, okay? Like if you've seen communication towers that have a satellite dish on them, okay? And so they have a very narrow radio frequency from one tower to the next tower, okay?
Almost like when you're using something like 4G or 5G. I understand what you're talking about.
Right, but there is there's something with those satellite links. Okay, it's called space diversity. Okay, and the reason why it's called space diversity is because it's like when one tower is sending signal to another tower. Okay, as the radio wave is transmitting. Okay, it's not as narrow as like at the tower, it's narrow, but as it goes to the next tower, the tower that's receiving the signal, it gets a little bit wider, okay? Mm-hmm. And it gets wide enough to the point that you could have two dishes on that tower, and both of those dishes will pick up the signal. And the reason why they say space diversity is so that if one receiving antenna goes bad, the other antenna can pick up the signal as a backup. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it's called space diversity in microwave communication. So that's kind of like So now, if you use a pulse like that, and it would and if it's at a distance, it would the longer it travels, it just slightly gets a little bit wider. So imagine if you had a laser beam, and you had a piece of paper in front of you, and on your left hand, and you hit the laser beam with the you press the button for your right hand, you get a little dot, and let's just say it's in. Let's just just to keep things simple, the circle is a 1-inch red circle, okay? But if you take that same laser beam and point it to the other end of your house, that 1-inch circle now might be 1.5 inches. Mm-hmm. So that's like what I'm talking about. So if a pulse was hitting that camera, and it would have to be at a great distance, and this is why I say at the great distance, if somebody's hitting that with a pulse, the other camera's so close to it, I believe the other camera got hit as well, unless somebody's hitting that with a pulse and it's very close by, and I can't see them.
Maybe a narrow pulse.
It could be narrow, it could be wide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But typically when the creatures are nearby, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, maybe I'm all mixed up here. I've been working long hours, but I would get. I'm not kidding you. I collected up to 13 chill cameras, and I put them surrounding my cabin, to half a mile from the cabin, to whatever, different distances, and I would get Duracell, and I buy the most expensive ones, brand new, like the 3-year warranty, whatever. You put them in, I'm putting in anywhere from 4 to 6 in each trail camera. Sometimes I guess up to 8, whatever. And I'd go and check them, and within 2 weeks, they'd be dead.
Yeah,
completely dead. Okay, I'm talking no good. So, like I've told you guys before, and I don't know if anybody's heard it on the audience, but I go to mediums just for my own purpose. And when I'm there speaking with the mediums, because of past history and death and things, I also always ask about the Bigfoot. And I said, you know, I'm going to drive me crazy. I'll be saying to her, you know. And she goes, Chris, each camera gives out some type of magnetic pulse that they can see.
Yep.
She's telling me this. She's educating me. Okay, because I need to be educated because I'm out in the woods and I'm the pioneer going out here doing this, and there's nobody with me, no cameras. And she's telling me that they can sense that energy coming from the camera, no problem. Same with some animals too. I hear the bears can sense some lithium or whatever they want to bite the cameras and whatever. So, anyways, getting to the point, you know, I may not have had cameras 3 feet away, but I've had them within 10 feet away and around in a circle. And in the middle, I throw a tree, I hang an apple or a Reese's peanut butter cup or whatever I was throwing in there so I could video whatever's going in. One of the cameras has got to get it. And right. I would just be frustrated. I would be angry, going, you know, M&F and this, how is this batch of Duracell, you know, copper, you know, phenomenon batteries just die? And she was the one that told me that they can sense it and they take the energy from it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
you can
when Jan was still alive, he had this apopathy that every time he put a trail cam out there, he'd come back the next day and there was nothing on the trail cams at all. But yet there were actually Bigfoots out there. Then it just dawned on him that, well, maybe they can smell these things, because he says if you smell your nose up to the trail cam, you can actually smell the battery. Now, maybe their senses are a lot more stronger, 100 times more than ours. They can smell these things, so they stay far away from them as they possibly can.
Well, you know, they pissed me off because sometimes they would just leave the battery and let it go, and then they would walk in front of the trail cameras. I got to show you when we get together one of these days, and just the light from the trail camera would go off and bounce off of their chest or parts of their body, and they would just go from one side, passing the trail camera and swing, and then come back, and you'd see their side with just hair. So you couldn't make out the figure of what part of the torso or arm they were using. They would just different. But then when they go at the end of their structure of their body, you'd see all this hair coming out, and the light of the camera would be able to record that, but it would not be able to record anything except white when it was they were like inches away off of their chest. They would play games with it, man. You know, and I'm going like, son of a bitch. You know, and they wouldn't be far out. They would crawl by the tree, and the camera would be there 8 feet up or something. I get my stool, my step ladder, or what do you call them, 3 foot step stool, and I climb up there and hang it high, or some I would hang low. But they'd be 2 inches from the camera's lens, and just like sway back and forth, but that it would just be white until they got to the edge of their body, and then you see hair sticking out.
It sounds to me like
you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Huh? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Yeah, I do. They're messing with you.
Oh yeah, they enjoyed it because I was their television. No one else was out there in the mountain.
Here's another thing you don't realize: as you're setting these cams up, haven't you ever figured that maybe somewhere in the background they're watching you doing this?
All the time.
Yeah.
I was an idiot, but yes, they were. They're watching me because when I'd be doing the dishes in the cabin, I look out in the window and there's one walking, and then I'd run out there with the camera on my phone, and I couldn't catch it. Then I'd be sitting there again, walking to the bathroom or whatever. I see one out there walking in the woods because whatever, it was fall or spring and early. I run out there. Then after a sudden, I said, "Screw it, man! I'm just going to let them walk." And the cameras were out there, and it didn't. And then when I took, and that's what the thing that got me. That once I removed all the cameras and just put them in my bag and put them left in the cabin, they came closer. They came closer.
Yeah.
Then they would come onto the cabin and walk on the steps and move the furniture. And I wake up or I take a nap and they'd be on a nap in broad daylight in my house in the cabin. And they come out and the furniture's knocked down. Didn't hear a word. They'd gently put down the chairs and the folding chairs and just lay it down there, letting me know that they were there. I mean,
that's why
there was so much.
That's why I have found that camera glasses, they work so much better. You can put them on your face, or you can get look like just regular lens glasses, but they have a little tiny camera that sits right in the middle of the forehead on these glasses, and they work perfectly.
And I brought up the idea of using the mirror technique, putting the camera in front of the mirror so you could see everything, okay? But see, they used that for gorillas at one time, too, when they were gorillas out in the wild, orangutans and gorillas and chimpanzees and stuff like that. They would use a very heavy mirror.
Like a metal piece mirror that you can see yourself through, and then you set the camera about maybe so many yards away from it, hidden, so when they're walking in front of that mirror, you can actually pick them up, and they're looking at themselves like, what the heck is this?
Or if they're messing with the camera, you see them.
Now, see, Jan used that method, and Jan actually caught some good photos.
Well, I listen.
You also remember. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you were just talking about mirrors, and when I was in Virginia, one thing is I went to Dollar Tree, bought a bunch of mirrors, and then she was coming out every night, and I put in the feeding gifts food section, and I left the mirror covered, and then I put watermelon, and I think I put the popcorn and stuff out there for her. And I left the hand mirror down, face down. It was a pink one. It was a female that was coming to see me. So I just sat there, and then it was at dusk. It was a little bit light, and all of a sudden, I see this glow. This glow in the woods where I left the food. And it was her eyes reflecting off the mirror onto her face. And she looked for like maybe 3 seconds, dropped the mirror, and like slowly like walked away to a nearby tree and hid behind it. Mm-hmm. And you could see her form of her legs being thinner than her body. Her body shape was so much wider than her legs. And then she walked back to the fooding place where I left the mirror. And she took it again, and she looked at it again. She was looking at it, and you could see her eyes, because of her eye shine glowing, bouncing off the mirror into the air. It was glowing. And then she put it down again, and she went to the same spot and hid behind a tree.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there, and I could see her body, and it was good because, in the woods in Virginia, man, the canopy, you got so much time to see, because you don't even see the stars when you're walking in Virginia in the woods. In the woods,
right.
You just don't see. And
you were
and then
using her vanity against her.
I did. And she went back again, and she took that mirror. She ate the food and everything, and I chatted with her, whatever. I was hoping she'd be more of a parent coming out to me that night, but she didn't take any more of the mirrors.
Right.
True story. Sure.
Well, if you remember Bill Draginis, may he rest in peace.
Barely hear you.
Yeah. Say that louder.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Is this better?
You on Verizon?
Can you hear me now?
Hello. Ice is coming. Start running.
Echo.
All right. Bill Draginis, years ago, he had invented a camera that didn't make so much noise. He realized that the creatures were probably sensitive to that, and he invented a camera, and I know he sold it to government for a while, so I don't know if they got the patent or not, but I know he was successful in capturing the creatures on it. Okay, and he had, I mean, he explained to me, he never showed it to me, but he explained to me the type of footage that he captured. And the reason why he couldn't show it to me was because he had his main computer and his backup computer, and I think I told you guys this before. You know, he had his main computer and his backup hard drive in his vehicle, and they broke into his vehicle. They took the computer and the backup hard drive, okay? But they left all the other valuable equipment in the truck, okay? So it's just kind of weird. But one of the videos that he explained to me, he said that he had a video, a mother and child, and, you know, and they were just, you know, in the woods, you know, and he said from what he can gather, he kept telling the way the mother was acting. The mother was trying to make the child obey, and the child was like being disobedient or something, you know, and then all of a sudden, and he said he picked up the audio on his camera. All of a sudden, the mother just went smack to the child, and then the child started, you know, the baby Bigfoot started listening. You know, you know. So, so that was one of the videos that he had picked up.
Yeah, let's go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. They're still using whatever bar their mommy bought for her little man. Is that what you want? To smell like mama's little man? Ugh. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who open the pickle jar on the first try. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. Dare I say, soft. Oh, men aren't supposed to have soft skin? Yeah, well, men weren't supposed to cry during movies. And then they made the movie Rudy. He's so good. You want to smell like the forest? Boom, pine tar, we've got you. You want to smell like the sea? Boom, nautical sage, we've got you. You want to smell like you just got off a boat in the Caribbean? Boom, bay rum, we've got you. And with 6 more cents, we've got you covered no matter what kind of man you are. Now you're wondering, why have I been doing it wrong for so long? During the First World War, big soap started taking out all the natural ingredients to make production cheaper and faster. And they replaced all the natural stuff with chemicals. Chemicals like sodium lauryl sulfate, parabens, and dioxane. Chemicals linked to depression, liver damage, cancer, and low sperm count. And worst of all, dry skin. Oh, your poor balls, all dry, empty, and sad. But there's good news. We make our natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. No. Turn your shower game up to 11. With the smooth lather of gold moss or the exfoliating woodsy bliss that is pine tar, get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive. Still not sure? Here's a couple reviews from real customers. Joseph S. says,
"This is the perfect bar of soap. It's like it was handcrafted in the Northwest Forest by beautiful tiny elves."
Oh, tiny elves isn't enough for you? Well, here's another review from Michael A.
"It makes you feel like you just stepped out of a mountain stream, and Squatch was there to hand you the towel."
Time for you to get the right tool for the job, because you're worth it, my friend. We ship it right to your door. And with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, if it's not the best bar of soap you've ever used, it's on us. Tens of thousands of men already subscribe, which means that every month, fresh new bars of Squatch show up at their door. Click the link for Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. Real soap for real men. Or don't, and continue to be mommy's little helper.
And we're back.
Nice.
Never gets tired. I was going to go to Walmart today. I was going to buy some of that, and I forgot about it.
You know, they came out with a Harry Potter version of the Squatch soap now.
Oh, shit.
Oh, really?
Harry Potter.
Yep.
Was Bigfoot on Harry Potter?
No, but it was a Squatch soap version of Harry Potter, like they did with the Star Wars.
What is it, Dumbledore soap?
Yeah, they actually have that.
Dusseldorf.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So Chris and Snake Man and Giant Up, I think I told you this before, but there was one time where I wasn't too far away from Stephen Barcelo, okay? And I was there with my mentor, and I had a audio recorder, okay? So I set up a game camera. I just set up one because I was already experienced that, they were going to avoid things, but I'm like, all right, let me just, I brought two, and I know I set up one, just in case something came across the trail, and then after that, I had set up got a text message, sorry. After that, I set up the audio recorder. So the audio recorder is interesting because, once you hit record, there's a slider switch that you lock it so that if any other buttons are pressed, nothing will happen.
Right.
It'll just continue to record.
Right.
And I left it out. Now, just on a fully charged rechargeable battery, I mean, the thing can record for over 24 hours straight, before it goes dead. And, but we had just, it was already past midnight, so I just left it out just for a few hours to record, But by the time I woke up in the morning, the recorder was still in the lock position, but it stopped recording.
Huh.
And I mean, so it's just, again, that's, that was probably, I mean, I know they mess with the game cameras and stuff like that, but I'm like, how does the recorder stop recording? You have to physically slide it out of the lock position, and then you could, stop the recording. But that's not what happened. So the batteries didn't drain. That was another weird thing. The batteries didn't drain. It just stopped recording.
Maybe they're a lot more smarter than we give them credit for.
Oh, God, yes.
There's a good possibility that they watched you set it up and then they just did the opposite, Just messing with it, not knowing what they were doing.
But here's the thing. I put the recorder, okay, I didn't just lay it out. I put it underneath the windshield wiper.
Oh,
okay? So
okay.
And the freaking thing was in the same exact position that I left it in. Okay? So, because imagine if you lift up the windshield wiper and then put it back down, it's not in the same. It looked like it was never touched. It was never touched.
Oh.
Either that or they could use mind control. I don't even know if that's possible.
So,
well, yeah, it's amazing what they can do, and they're magical beings. They can get away with a lot of stuff. I mean, I even took photos, maybe a short video of me finding footprints, small footprints on the hood of my rental car that I took from Connecticut to go to Virginia, and there was no dent or scratch. But as I was walking by, I always like to look around my car because I know when they're out there, they'll leave fingerprint stuff. And where I found was these small, little footprints on the hood of of the rental car that I had. It was a white rental car, you know, and you had to look at it at an angle, you know, the seat, because you walk normally, you know, but if you looked on there, God, there's footprints on there. Now, I don't know, it had to be from a little one, not a big one, but, you know,
Did you find any footprints next to the car at all?
No, man, it's just crazy about that. Sometimes they'll leave you a gift like that, and and like I just spoke with the medium, they left you that one footprint to see, or they left you those several things to see, or whatever gift. They decide what they're going to want you to have. It's not like they, you know. Sometimes I guess they do make mistakes. Don't get me wrong, you know, but majority of the time they're letting you know what they're going to give you. All right, we're going to give you this as a gift. If it's fingerprints or hair, or like they did with me with a feather, and they made little loops in the feather, and it was just, you know, it was a gift. And but they purposely will let you see, you know, what they want, you know, and so I got really close to many of them. You know, let's see, in Virginia. Yeah, you're in a great area there, Anthony. You guys are in a great area there. And by the way, Oklahoma, I've been reading, has been getting a lot more sightings of Bigfoot this year. So it must be warm in Oklahoma. Is it?
No idea. No idea.
Well, Snake Man lives right next door. Pitch.
Yeah,
Warm where he
warm here,
is, it's more
it's
likely
warm there.
warm in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, if it's warm here, it's warm there.
Yeah, they've been saying a lot. I've been reading of Oklahoma. A lot of sightings came. There was one on the news that came up last week. I forgot to say that because of sea squatchers. But yeah, it was Honobie, Honobiie, Honobie, Oklahoma. There was a sighting of some mountain range there that people were saying. So, hey.
There's a mountain range there called Old Man of the Mountain, is all I know.
Is there an Old Man of the Mountain?
I know that there's been a lot of reports coming in about dogface situations happening over that way in some of the ranches. They've been attacking the cattle.
Oh. Really? I didn't read that part. Oh, man, that's too bad.
Either.
Yeah, it gives Skinwalker Ranch a run for its money.
Well, I mean, wasn't it Jan that said he didn't believe in dogface until he actually seen one?
Yeah, and then when he seen one, he said, well, I can actually say I ate crow.
You're funny.
Cultivated one too.
I'll have to find that recording.
Oh, did he record the voice from it?
Actually, we did a recording on him. This was several years back before he passed away. But, yeah, when I did the show, we did a recording of it, and he was talking about he didn't believe in a dog-faced Bigfoot. He kept saying that's just plain demonic. And then he turned around a few weeks later and he said he actually saw one that now he can eat a bowl of crow.
Oh.
You know, I
don't want to see it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, they're different, that's for sure.
There could be, what do you call it? Interbreeding or, what's the other thing? Cloning or how you want to do it? I'm not sure how that would work.
Yeah.
You know, guys, I'm only 5 weeks or 6 weeks at the most from doing the Bigfoot camping I'm going to be doing, in April. And that one video shot that I caught by accident, I sent you that picture of that still shot of
I saw that. My mouth dropped and hit the floor.
And that was following. Did you see it? Did you see it, Anthony?
Yeah, you sent it. I remember.
Okay, yeah, and I had no idea. And when I posted that video on my YouTube channel, it was some woman from Indiana. Says, listen, I like to go through people's videos, and I just want you to be alert. This is what I saw. And she took that video, stopped it right there, took a still shot of it, and sent it to me. I had no idea it was there.
I've done the same thing with Anthony's videos that he sent me, and I look at them real good, and you can actually see a figure standing there in the background, and then Anthony goes, well, I didn't see that one before.
Yeah, well, some people can see it. I'm terrible at it.
Oh, you're not.
Yeah, I mean, there was years ago. This was like right after TV had come through the area.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because I went down that same road, where I had the footprints and all that. I went down that same road a different day, and there was a structure there, and I didn't think nothing of it, so I just went there to take a picture. Now, one of the things, one of the basic things you learn about when you want to take better pictures in photography is to use a flash even in the daytime. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it will light the shadows in front of you. And so I did that. I was taking daytime photos with the flash because I just wanted to bring out some detail in the shadows. But it wasn't until I showed the picture to my friends, and he's like, he's like, hey, I could make out a face here in this structure. He's like, look, and sure enough, what you saw was like the profile, kind of like a sideways mugshot, and you could see the brow line, you could see the nose, and so when after that was pointed out to me in the picture, I went back, and sure enough, I went back to that exact spot, and that exact spot that I thought that I was lighting up a shadow, I could now see through. So that meant something was there. So what I'm over here thinking it was just debris piled up on this little formation, this teepee formation. I thought it was just debris behind it, and now I could see through it, So I'm like, oh, son of a gun, man! I was that close to the creatures. All they did was stay still, and it wasn't, and it wasn't until I showed it to somebody else. I was just trying to show the structure, and they're pointing out to me, like, hey, there's a face here, and so so that was, and that's another thing. If a lot of times, how many times you're in the woods, you know what I mean? And you don't smell nothing, you don't hear nothing, but people, sometimes they'll get the feeling that, oh, I feel like I'm being watched, and sometimes it's just nothing. Unless you take like a photo evidence or something like that, and check it out later on, it's like, oh my goodness, they were there the whole time. They were there the whole time. If they wanted to, I was so close that they could have reached out and knocked me out. You know what I mean? But they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But,
I've had that happen to me more than once when I'm out in the woods. We're sitting at a picnic table somewhere out in the mountains in the Forest Service, and you have this strange, eerie feeling like something's staring at you, and you can feel the hair in the back of your neck kind of stand up.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well.
Oh, yeah.
And what's funny is you get out there and you think you're smarter than they are, and you think you're going to slip up on them and maybe catch a glimpse of them or something like that. You don't realize that they're like standing maybe an arm's length away from you where they could tap you on the shoulder and go, boo.
Yeah. Just like that one where, what was it? Chris was telling us a story where the guy, what was it, a week before, that some guy was standing, or was it last week or something like that? This guy was looking for a Bigfoot, and he was wearing a bear, like a ghillie suit or whatever, and Bigfoot walked up behind him and then he took that ghillie suit headpiece off. This Bigfoot just sitting there looking at him in shock.
Yeah. That was the story. They said the Bigfoot fell down, looking at him. He had no idea that in the ghillie suit there was a human underneath. That's how they slip up. Once in a while, it happens. And this guy, it was like he was having a heart attack. That he said the face of the Bigfoot was so scared and couldn't understand what was underneath there. And, you know, he was out there, you know, ready to shoot a elk or something. He was on a goat, mountain goat or something. I can't remember. But yeah, they do make mistakes, but not often.
But you know what? They're so scared of us. Maybe it's because humans have tried to hurt them or shoot them and kill them and stuff like that, and they're just so terrified of us, humans.
Yeah.
They think we're all that
That's why they want to keep as far away from us as they possibly can. Now, I'm not saying they do that with everybody. There's some that they've actually seen since a child, and they're used to us. But the rest of the world, they can tell by looking at a person's what their intentions are.
Well, let me share this story with you guys. Because this happened a long time ago. This was in my guy I know in Mississippi, and he it didn't happen to him, but he told me that it happened to somebody that's very close to him, and that they were hunting out in the woods, and his friend was up in a tree stand. Okay, and he said that, you know, he heard some noise coming, and so, you know, he just like prepared himself thinking like, oh, okay, you know, like what animal is this? And then as he turned around, he saw one of the creatures looking at him. And then like he was so stunned, you know, like they were like looking at each other kind of shocked, you know. But the creature was so tall that it went up to him, right? And it started with his hands. It started with his hands, like messing with his feet, you know? And so he, you know, tree stand is not that big, you know, of a platform, but, you know, he's moving around and this thing's trying to mess with his feet. And so finally he got annoyed enough to the point where he just lifted his gun up and was, you know, pointed it at the creature. And he said as soon as he did that, the creature backed off, okay, and went into the, you know, into some deep brush and just squatted down and was just looking at him for a while. You know, you're just staring at him for a while until he just, you know, crawled off and disappeared.
Oh yeah,
what guns are. It knows what guns are.
Yeah. They know a lot of things. I think they can read your mind, Anthony. I mean, they just know you as an individual. They can feel the energy, negative or positive, from you. Yeah. Even when you're scared and in shock, you know. I mean, it's a shame.
That's what I was going to ask you guys too, Chris. Is that okay with the gun situation? Yeah, they know guns, but. Well, my situation back when I was 14, I was using a gun to hunt squirrels, and it still followed me out of the woods.
No, I can't tell you why, but it must have known that you wouldn't have shot it.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I can say. You know.
Yeah. Well, like you said, maybe they can sense something. Maybe they can read your aura or your mind or something of that nature, and they can tell that you're not going to be of any harm to them.
Well, you know,
that's why I'm going out. I'm going out this April, man. I'm telling you, I'll do one night with you. I'm not going to be bringing out my phone and videoing anything, but I'll do one night for the show, and that I'll do. That's it.
Yeah,
and
just get out there with your phone and say, can you say something into this, please?
Oh, I'll leave the phone on all night, like what Anthony was doing with that. I'll leave the phone on all night, you know, and they can, you know, steal it, but I'll leave it on, and you know, they'll come. But I'm spending 5 nights. This is all. Yeah. Listen, if it's snowing, I can't do it. You know, I'm going to tell you that. I just don't have the facilities, you know, the strength to do that, to handle that in the snow, because I did it when in Colorado, when it was hailing and light snow. I mean, that was brutal. The hailing was brutal.
Yeah, I remember when you were up there and you were in a tent and it was raining outside, and I think me and you did a video and you showed me where it was raining. I'm like, holy crap.
For 3 days.
Yeah.
I was stuck up in the mountain for 3 days in the rain. I was eating all my rations. I couldn't even make a cup of coffee or nothing. No, but that's where they were. But they'll come in here where I'm going. I'm only 3 miles from the cabin from where I was before, and that's where they make the come to visit.
Yeah.
Right.
And hopefully they'll bring a little one. Last time they did, they brought a little one, and there were 2 adults, one male, one female. And the little one just stared at me with his eyes shine, and for 3 hours until I did the stupid whistling. I'll never do that again.
Yeah,
Now,
he was looking at you stupidly, like, what the hell are you?
Mommy, what's the naked ape?
Well,
A naked ape.
You know how gorillas and the Planet of the Apes thing, they call you the naked ape, the
How
humans?
can you be naked with clothes on? Come on now.
Well, you know what I mean. No hair.
Oh,
Yeah.
No hair on your body.
oh, on your head. You could have went out.
Well, not
you could have
you,
went out
but-
there in a ghillie suit.
Yeah, we'll just get you another ghillie suit, Steve, and let you go out there.
It wouldn't bother me none. But I ain't putting that face thing on. I just put from the shoulders down. That'll work.
Steven, let me borrow that pheromone spray you got. I'll spray some all over you.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah,
I don't
you'll
think
attract
so.
plenty.
I'll send some to Snake Man. He can use it on his salad.
Oh, you're funny. Oh, my God. Oh, dear God. That's very interesting stuff. I mean, do you ever think that maybe they try to emulate us?
Are you kidding? Of course
Anything's
they do.
possible.
Of course they do.
I mean, they see us and stuff.
Well, they couldn't emulate
Remember
us
that
too
one
much.
time-
They'd be out there driving a stick shift right now.
Look, Snake Man, it's been a long time since I said this, but I'm pretty sure I mentioned this to you guys before. I mean, when back when I was married and I was at the house, and this was broad daylight, and I'm cutting the grass, and I got the headphones on, because I'm on a riding mower, just some muffled, just the sound, and I hear, and through the headphones I hear, Dad, and I'm like. And it was like it was one of those screams, like it sounded like, Dad, I need help, And so silly me, I'm on the mower, right? But instincts just take over, and I just jumped off the mower and ran up to the house. Now, mind you, I could have got to the house quicker if I would have stayed on the mower. But it's just that your parental instincts are just like, oh, I got to get to my kids, and boom, I just took off, And
Super dad syndrome.
Yeah, I go inside the house and I see all my kids there, and I'm like, nobody called me? They're like, no, we just here watching TV the whole time. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, son of a gun, the freaking creature sounded just like my children, I mean, it was just, and then sometimes at night, it sounded like they were children playing in the woods.
You know something?
Okay.
I had that same experience that you had up in Shasta County, California back in 2015 before I left to come back down here. I was walking up in, it's called Whiskey Town Lake, and they have this little type of boating and swimming area. It's called Brandy Creek, and there's a dirt road that comes off and goes up into the hills somewhere. So I'm walking on this dirt road just up in the hills with my car parked down in the parking lot, and all of a sudden I hear these kids. It sounds like kids playing and everything else, and it was coming across the ravine. But the only thing across the ravine is there's no park, there's no nothing, and it's just mountains and trees with a little tiny creek going down through it. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, holy crap, it's got to be at least a couple of Bigfoot children out there doing this.
Yeah. And one of the things that I had learned later on was that, and it's been so long that I can't remember. Man, it's been so long I can't even remember where I heard it. But this is what I heard is like some of the Native American tribes, they say that if you hear the sound of children in the woods at night, that means get your children together and keep them inside, because that's just to lure. They said they learned from, this is the stories that were passed down because they had learned from the elders that, those that went out to try to, find the children playing in the woods, they got wound up being taken, so.
Oh, okay. That's a trick.
Yeah.
What I meant by emulating was, I meant like they watch, say, you combing your hair, and they try to copy you combing their hair, and or picking up a skillet to try to cook something. They pick it up and try to emulate the same thing that you just did. I wonder if they do that.
I heard that before. I think it wasn't it one of, I'm not sure if it was one of the TB's videos or not, but they had said that someone was eating a sandwich and that they noticed that when they were making eye contact with the creature, that the creature was doing the same thing, like putting its hand to its mouth, like trying to mimic the movement of eating a sandwich. So.
Who was it who had a Bigfoot come into camp and take their snuff, their chewing tobacco?
Oh, that was back during the beginning of the 1900s. I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the guy's name, but they captured him in his sleeping bag, and they took him into their...
Ostman.
Hoffman or whatever his name was?
Ost.
Yeah,
Ostman.
And he was taking a can of snuff, and he put it in his mouth. The Bigfoot, I guess, thought it was food, so the Bigfoot took it from his hand. He put the whole in his mouth, tried to chew it and swallow it, and I guess the Bigfoot ran off to get some water. He was choking on it.
And that's what he used to escape, because they kept him captive for a few days.
That's right.
And that, and when the creature, had that reaction, then that's what he took advantage and made his escape.
What do you guys think about this stuff around the Bigfoot, Sasquatch are cannibals?
I know some Native American tribes. I know some Native American tribes say that they were felt like some of them were cannibals. The only one that I can recall, and I remember reading it in the book. It was called "Life Among the Paiutes."
Yeah, that's in Nevada, I think.
Yeah, so Sarah Winnemucca Hopkins, she was explaining on how there was a race that was so bad, that they had to bury their deceased very, very deep, because these creatures would come, these giants would come, and they would dig them up and eat them, and they were like, they said they even ate their own. But, definitely when somebody in the tribe had died, that they definitely, they knew. It's like they, when a body rots, they knew. They're like, oh, this is like food. They got into, according to her, the story that was passed down was that, that they had isolated, they had gotten to a battle with the creatures, and they finally had enough, and they got into a battle with the creatures, and they kind of like pushed them off to an island that was far away, and it kept them there for a little while. And anytime that they would try to come back, they would always try to kill them, but finally, like one day, they all started coming back to the mainland. And so the natives there, they all got together, and they kind of like forced them into a cave, okay? And when they got them all into the cave, they lit the cave, they set the cave on fire, and sealed it up so that they couldn't, come out anymore. And she said that's when they all died. She said they all had long red hair, and she had a dress that said that there's no other dress like this dress, because this dress has the red hair from one of the giants woven into it, So, and, she described how she would show it off and stuff like that. So Life Among the Paiutes, that's the name of the book where she talks about that, and you can get more detail from it.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. 'Cause I heard some people talking about that they think that Sasquatch is to blame for hikers coming up missing in these in different areas and stuff like that, you know. And I'm like, I don't know if that would be true, because most of the Sasquatches are peaceful.
Mostly,
They just want to do that alone.
mostly of all the Sasquatches I've ever seen all my life, my first encounter was back in 1966 when I saw my first one through my bedroom window. Now, this thing could have just busted the window and took me out, but it didn't. That's what makes me realize, and maybe what stories people say about these things are just giving them a bad rap or something like that. Because I've never once had a problem with one, ever.
Oh, you think this way? Any creature you corner or threaten, they're young. They're gonna fight back.
Well, you can do that with a javelina. You can do that with a bear. You can do that with a mountain lion. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to attack you. And even if you show a sign of fear, they'll do the same thing.
So let me ask you a question. Was it Rocky or was it Swede that said that they got carried away by one and that he had used his knife and stabbed it in its neck and then he got thrown down to the ground?
From what I understand, I think it was both of them. They went out hunting and they shot one and they killed it. I think one was with a knife, and then they couldn't kill with a knife, so they shot a couple rounds in it and they finally killed it. Then they were going to try to, I guess, make it known to the world, and then they had a different thought about it, so they put it on a fire and they actually cremated it. I don't know how long ago that was. I think that was like maybe.
No, but I'm talking about when they got carried off.
Well, that part I don't know. If they had it on Tom's show, I have no clue.
I think it was Rocky. I think. You know, I could be wrong,
but I don't remember.
Well, if it was Rocky, he probably had smell of his sandwiches on him.
Yeah, and you know, I'm sitting there, I'm listening to their story when they're talking about shooting one, and I'm thinking, well, what would be the implications of that? You know,
there's so many stories of people shooting them, this and that, you know, and none of them have ever been able to like carry them and throw them in the back of their pickup truck and you know, bring it into so everybody could see it. It just always. I was just reading an article maybe the other day about somebody shooting a Bigfoot maybe I think.
Yeah, shooting a Bigfoot's really difficult. I've seen people actually load the whole rounds of 30-06s in these things, and it's like they get up and just walk off like, oh, what are you shooting me with, pellets?
Well, that too. You know?
Well, the reason people don't do that, though, Chris, is because Sasquatch is too much like a human being.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? I mean, that would be like shooting a human. Okay? They could say, well, this could be a distant relative of human. And that could probably change the entire thing on evolution.
Well, not only that, look at the law they have up in Washington. They evicted that law somewhere back during the 1970s. And it's been a law up there ever since. Anybody shooting a Sasquatch in the state of Washington is looking at 20 years of state prison.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah. But Sasquatch can throw rocks at you all he wants.
It sure can.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I know who to point at.
I just use you for a human shield. What are you talking about?
Ain't gonna throw no rocks at me. I'm not afraid of him. I just say, there he is. Go get him.
I'm not scared either, but I'd still use you for a shield if they're throwing rocks.
Yeah, okay. I just hold out some a couple sandwiches. Say, hey, come over here. Have a meal. I could just see.
Hey, Chris, have you ever thought of putting granola out for them?
Yeah, they won't touch that stuff.
You don't think so? Not with the honey?
No. They'll take the honey, no problem. But they won't touch that granola.
So I have a
Really?
They won't
That
touch
he left
granola
Snickers
for one
bars.
simple reason, because oatmeal has certain chemicals in it. They've been spraying oatmeal since the 1970s. They ain't gonna that stuff. Hell, I won't even eat oatmeal.
Wow, and I got some downstairs.
I won't touch that stuff.
Well, you know what? There's something you guys can think of when I do my Bigfoot camping. You know, what would you like me to bring to see if they would eat?
I'd say
Cracker
take some
Jack.
white rice with you.
That or some Cracker Jacks.
What do you call?
Listen,
What do you
no,
call
bring out-
those rice? I don't know what. I don't know if they carry them at Dollar Tree still
Rice
or
cakes?
not. They're like rice cakes. They'll eat those, no problem.
And
All right.
don't they
No, Chris, do what Todd Standing did. He put out apples, and 100% of the time they would take the apples.
Yeah,
Now-
yeah, apple. You got to remember, I can't cook anything because I don't want to bring the bears and anything like that, the coyotes or hybrid wolves or whatever. I don't want to cook shit, you know, and I don't want to.
You could always do what I do and take a bag of bagels out there with you that has the raisins in them and put them way up in the air somewhere where a raccoon or whatever can't get to it except for maybe a Sasquatch. And when they grab that bagel, you just look on the ground and you'll see footprints or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I used to do it.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
That's
fine.
an idea.
Bagels you can do, apples I'll do, fruit I'll do, dry fruit I'll do. You know, I'll put that out.
Hey, Steve, will they eat Cracker Jacks since it's like corn, basically? It's popcorn with caramel?
No, I doubt that.
We could try
I mean,
it, but I'll eat it.
Does a Sasquatch have a sweet tooth?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
They have sweet tooth. They love cookies. Believe
Well,
it
they
or
have-
not, believe it or not,
They might. Like,
believe it or not, they love homemade chocolate chip cookies. I know this for a fact.
yeah. But, I mean, I was just wondering, if they have a sweet tooth, then why not Cracker Jacks? It's corn, but it's also got caramel.
Yeah, corn's also got Roundup in it. You think if Bigfoot's that stupid?
Oh, no, Roundup.
You didn't know that? Do the research, man. Corn actually has Roundup in it. I won't even touch corn.
What kind of corn we talking about? Corn on the cob?
Yeah, corn on the cob, cream corn, doesn't matter. What a lot of people don't realize is corn has the DNA structure of Roundup in it. So when they plant the corn, it chases the bugs away.
Shit. That's no good.
So the best type of corn to give a Sasquatch, believe it or not, is Indian corn. Indian corn don't have no chemicals in it.
Now, Indian corn, is that corn that has different colors on the kernels?
Yeah.
So, Chris, I would suggest one other thing.
Sure.
And it may or may not work, but years ago, TB had this one woman on. Her name was Jody.
Oh, I remember her.
Yeah.
And Jody, you guys remember Jody, right? And remember what Jody said?
Yeah, she was up in Washington.
Giving them garlic. She was giving them garlic, like the patriarch of the one. She said she was she was putting the garlic in his hand. Okay, that's how close she got. She said that this guy, the patriarch, she called him Fox. You remember that? She said that she was giving him garlic, like he would knock on the door and he would always knock for the garlic, and that she would buy garlic just for him. So,
tell me something here. I got to ask you this question here. Are we talking like garlic, already peeled in a jar that I bring, or the real
No, you're talking about raw garlic.
Okay, well they have in the jar already raw. Okay, so you want me, Anthony, to get the clove of garlic, like the round whole cloves?
Right, because she
Okay.
she didn't get it she didn't get it from a jar. She just said she just got the garlic. It wasn't in a jar or anything like that. So
here's
I'll
the
do
question
that.
though: if they eat the garlic, why wouldn't they eat an onion?
Well, they probably would eat an onion.
No, I gave out onions, man, and they never touched them. Whole onions.
Really?
Yeah, they were yellow onions with the brown with the skin on it, and I did that in Virginia.
Did you
So
try giving them white onions?
No,
You
I
mean
only gave you
Bavaria?
Spanish. I think it was Spanish.
Oh, okay.
The yellow ones.
Okay. I was wondering about that and everything. I mean, if you give them garlic, why not onion? Because aren't they kind of...
True.
Yeah.
I agree, but I experimented with believe me, guys, I tried everything from raw chicken to Reese's Pieces, kettle corn, you name it, I knew what
did they do with the kettle corn? Did they touch it?
Oh, she loved it. She loved it in Virginia. She would eat that, man. She would, and this was kettle corn that I used in the microwave.
Huh.
I popped them in the microwave.
That's weird. I've never heard of a Bigfoot eating corn at all. I know they would eat. I know they would eat what they call corn mash that they make whiskey and stuff out of.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's been reports, though, Steve. I told you this a while back, about a couple of years ago, about the report the person had of a Sasquatch taking their sweet feed for their horses. Yeah, it's got molasses in it.
Well, yeah, that's sweet. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I'm wondering
you
if
could use molasses. That'll work.
Because I was wondering about that, because they like molasses, they like mussels, they do like corn.
Maybe I ought to take a couple apples and dip them in caramel. That'd be a hell of a sweet tooth.
Hang it from a tree. Put it on a fishing line and hang it from the tree.
No, you don't want them to eat the fishing line.
Oh, we don't want that. But they do have a sweet tooth, and they love the Reese's. They would pick stuff out, man. They would tell me what they would. When I was in the Rocky Mountains up there, I bought this trail mix, and it had walnuts in it. It had dried cranberries, dried raisins, cashews, pumpkin seeds. And I would just put a bunch of it on a plate.
Oh yeah, they love trail mix.
Trail mix. But the thing was, when I came back this day, they took everything off the plate and just left a pile of pumpkin seeds. They did not. No, it wasn't the pumpkin seeds. Excuse me. It was sunflower seeds. They left all the green sunflower seeds in a big pile. So they dissected everything and ate it, except the
sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds, yeah.
Yeah, they won't touch sunflower seeds. I'm not sure. I'm not sure as to why, but they won't touch it.
Well, whatever company that put it in with the rest of the trail mix, I don't know if it's just one company doing, are they bringing in all the trail mixes of like the pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds and the raisins in, and they mix it together at their own facilities that they harvest, or is it from some other company that they buy it from that just do pumpkin seeds and they bring it in and then they make, that's the thing. It was just weird that certain things they would not eat and other things they enjoyed.
Well, I tell you what, when you go out in the field, you can lay a thing of peanut butter and celery on a log, and then you can lay some, what's that stuff you used to buy in the Dollar Tree in a can?
Fluffernutter?
No, it was like a fish.
Sardines?
Yeah, sardines in a can. They love sardines.
Wait a minute.
They'd rather take a sardine over peanut butter any damn day of the week.
I can't do that.
See... Oh yeah, the bears and other predators.
They'll bring other predators all over, man.
Well, I'm
going to
wondering
get up to go to the bathroom at night, and I'm going to get attacked while I'm going to the bathroom. How you guys going to feel about that?
I wouldn't get attacked by no bear.
I wonder if they how they are about, like, say, marshmallows. You know, simple, sweet, you know, easy.
I did give them marshmallows. Okay.
Oh, did you?
And yes, I did give them marshmallows in Virginia, and it wasn't a big hit. I was disappointed as much as, you know, I thought they ate them, but they didn't eat as much. It wasn't, you know, they let me know. I mean, I put 8 of those big round marshmallows on a plate, and I'd have like 7. But they wouldn't touch, you know. Oh,
That's
yeah.
Weird.
I've got it all on YouTube, man. It's all on YouTube. That Virginia, 4 years going there for 40 days plus every year. Once I went twice. They were very, very comfortable in trying to make a connection, but I blew it. I blew it at the end.
Do you know anybody that has horses? Maybe you could get some sweet feed from them and take that out there.
Don't know.
What is that feed like? Is it just with the molasses?
Yeah, it's got molasses in it. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't, but I know there's horse country up here.
Just ask for a little bit of sweet feed with molasses in it.
Yeah.
I could probably go to Tractor Trailering. We have Tractor Trailer Supply up here, and that's all farm stuff. They would have it.
And the worst thing that could happen is you feed the deer.
Yeah, I could feed myself.
No comment. Like I said, honey works better.
Don't call him honey. You don't know him that well.
Oh, you're funny. Anyhow, it's that time of hour again.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Gentle Giant, and this is the Bigfoot Radio for this week. And we would like you all to tune in next week for some more Bigfoot Radio. And all of us on the Bigfoot Radio Network, we would also like to thank our guests for joining in on the discussion tonight on this talk show. And we would also like to thank you, our listeners, for sharing our adventures with us. Join us again next Friday evening for another exciting hour of Bigfoot Radio with the Bigfoot research teams from across the country. And we would also especially like to thank our listeners. Until then, this is the Gentle Giant saying good night, be good, be safe, and we will see you here again next week. Until then, keep Bigfoot live and keep Bigfooting. See you all again next week. Bye-bye, and have a nice night.
Just like a man, while keeping out of sight. What he is may be unknown, but there's one thing I know.